Hello guys, what's up? Richard here. Today I have here on the channel a guest. I'm here with Julia from Inglês com Julia. Thanks so much, Julia, for being here on my channel.
Hello guys, how are you? Thank you for this invitation. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be really great, guys. She teaches English on her Instagram. Her link will be in the description below. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section below, guys, please. So let's get started. Julia, thanks so much again for being here on my channel. First of all, I'd like to ask you because I like talking to people who are interested in learning English, and you teach English really well.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask about your English background. How did you get interested in learning English?
Oh, okay. At the beginning, I didn't like English at all. It was like, can I say a bad word?
Go ahead, no.
It was a pain in the ass. Okay. Because I didn't know how to speak English, and people around me my friends already knew how to speak English. Some of them, not all of them. And I wanted to enter to medical school. And here in Brazil, we know that to pass at the vestibular, we have to know a little bit about English. So my mom came to me and said, okay, it's time for you to learn English. And was like, okay, challenge accepted. Then we start to search for English schools here in my city. I live in a small city in São Paulo, the state of São Paulo. And we look at and we search it so much, and okay, let's go to the cheapest one because it's expensive. Yeah. So I went to a regular school, they call today. In the past, they didn't have it. To an English school, a common English school, and I decided that when I entered the class, I would be the best student that I could. Not actually the best student in the class, but I will make the best that I could. So a good level of English to enter to medical school and to make my family proud. But I hated English.
Really?
Then, yes, I hated English. It was like my nightmare.
Oh,
because I didn't know English. So that time, when you don't know something, you don't like it.
Yeah, I know.
Then I realized that that's not that I didn't like English, that I didn't know English.
Yeah, most of the time I said.
Yes. And then I started studying, and I was not the kind of person that studies only inside the classroom. Even if it was math, biology, or something like that, I always studied in my house every day. So I started studying English every day, not thinking, okay, let me sit here and study English. But I liked Maroon 5. I was crazy about Maroon 5 at that time. So I was always trying to sing their songs. I used to sing a band that's 30 Seconds to Mars. They are an alternative rock band. And I tried to sing their songs. And then I would start to improve my English, improve my listening, amplifying my vocabulary. Music, it makes my vocabulary so bigger, faster than my friends, because they didn't like English at this regular school, and they also didn't study English at home.
It's a mistake, right? We do have to study at home. I think it's more important than studying inside of class, right?
Yes. And then, because at class we were like, I was there once a week. I didn't learn Portuguese, sorry. I didn't learn Portuguese. Listen to Portuguese once a week. Portuguese is in my life all the time. So when I was a kid, I was listening to Portuguese all the time. What should I do to learn a foreign language? listen to this foreign language, be in contact with this all the time. Not all the time because it's not possible, but as much as I can. And I do that until today because now I'm learning Italian.
Oh, I see. That's awesome. And that's so interesting you said that. I was reading this book earlier today, and it said kids usually what 5,000 hours of listen. They listen to 5,000 hours of television. For example, they watch the television, but they also are listening, right, to things before going to the first grade. So imagine only studying once a week at our English school. So that's why it doesn't work, right? Because I totally agree with you. I think we have to study a lot because our brain needs to get used to it, right? In the beginning, it's so hard to express ourselves. I think it's so great when we can have a conversation like this because it was a hard process, right? To start communicating in English, right? Don't you think that?
Yes, and about kids, we kids don't start listening to their mother tongue when they are born. I study at school about the development of the person inside the womb, and we listen inside the womb. So think about it. Inside the womb, we are listening as Brazilians to Portuguese. How can we not learn Portuguese?
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Yes.
And
And then
I'm sorry.
oh, sorry. And then I started thinking, okay, I can speak English, a basic English, but a basic level, but I could do this. And I started liking it.
That's
And
true.
then I was like, okay, what is happening here? Now I like English. Now it's not like a bad thing for me. It's not a nightmare anymore. I like it. I enjoy studying it. And then my thoughts about the future, they started to going down because I was like, okay, I want to go to medical school, but now I want to study English and I want to study literature and Portuguese. What should I do?
Yeah.
And then after a lot of crying, because I was very, very confused, I started to go to letras to study Portuguese and English. And
That's
there,
cool.
yes, I entered my course called letras. I entered there and there I had a different English. I think when I entered there I was like B1 or B2. I don't know my level of
Yes.
English on that time because I didn't took tests. And I started reading a lot, a lot, a lot. Like Shakespeare, we had to read Shakespeare in English, the original
Oh,
English. Yes. And then it was like, you see how words worked at that time and how they are like, why they are how they are today.
yeah.
And this also improved my English, and I started to talk with foreign people at high school,
That's cool.
no, at college, but I never talked with foreign,
Really?
not foreign native people. I always
Mm,
talked to people that didn't were native. They didn't
mm,
were native, like French people, Spanish people, Taiwanese people, and I improved my English like this, not speaking with a native, speaking with people that weren't native. So that's a good way to improve too. Because when you have a question, for example, how can I say this in English, and the person also doesn't know, you search together, you discover
mm.
together, and you get used to different accents.
That's great.
Because we always listen to my English is American, Brazilian American English. We have this accent, so if
Yeah.
you only listen to Brazilian teachers speaking to you, you are going to get used to this accent, the Brazilian accent.
Yeah.
And if you only listen to American people, you get used to American accent, and so on. So it's good to have a worthwhile listening to improve it and to learn new words.
Totally. That's great,
That is my
Olivia. And
journey.
especially if we only listen to, for example, the American accent, we will get close to it, but we will never be a native speaker, right? A lot of people like criticizing others because they think, oh, don't speak like a native, you'll make a lot of mistakes, but we will never speak like a native speaker. We will always have an accent, right?
Yes, don't get crazy. People don't get crazy about, oh, I have to sound like a native. Listen, you're not a native in English. You never talk like a native. Don't be sad because of it. Don't think, oh, no, I'll never be a native, so I won't stop. I will stop studying English. It's not like this. You have to continue. You have to improve your accent. That's not because you're not a native that you have to speak like, I don't mind, I'm going to speak in the way that I think this word is pronounced. It's not like this. You have to study it. You have to study pronunciation, but it's a hard thing. You will only be a native in the language that you are native. And for example, maybe I'm a native in Portuguese, and Richard is a native also, but how do you say mandioca? Do you say mandioca?
In English, I don't say
No,
that.
in Portuguese. Do you
Yeah,
say
usually,
mandioca?
I usually say that word.
Because we have 3 different words in Portuguese for this word. And this word in English is cassava or manioc. For if someone that is not a native of Portuguese is listening to us, manioc or cassava. That's what we're talking about. In Portuguese, we have 3 words. Mandioca. I forgot the words. Mandioca.
My girlfriend, she's from Maceió, the northeastern of Brazil, and she says another word for mandioca. I don't remember. Macaxeira, that's it.
Yeah, we have 3 words for mandioca. We have mandioca, aipim, and macaxeira. My ex-boyfriend is from Paraná, and I say salsicha, sausage in English, salsicha. He says vina.
What?
Vina.
Really? So different.
Yes, it's very different. And that's what people have to think about it. Even if you speak with a native of your mother tongue, we have differences, and that's beautiful. That's amazing. Don't be crazy about talking like a native, and then you are looking at your sink. For example, when I'm speaking English, I have American accent, so I speak that thing that it's on the top of the sink. For me, is tap, torneira, tap. But for a British person, it's faucet.
Oh, yeah.
And then I know people that get crazy because they don't know the word tap and they know faucet, or they don't know the word faucet and no tap.
Yeah, it's my case. I didn't know tap. I used to use faucet.
Yeah, this British thing. But you don't need to know tap if you know faucet.
Really? Do people in America, will people in America understand me
Yes.
if I use faucet?
If they don't know the word, they will understand you from the context.
Yeah, that's important, right? Context,
Yes,
it's,
context.
I think, the
And
most
even if
important
you
thing.
mispronounce something, they will understand you because of the context. And if they don't understand you, they will ask you, can you say it again, please? I didn't understand you. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
It's good to make mistakes. You learn from mistakes.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Especially on the internet, a lot of people imply that, oh my gosh, don't say this, don't say very well. It's like prohibited, right? But it's not, right? You can say very well, but you have to use other words, right? To try to have some varieties, right?
Yes. Once I saw a girl telling, "Don't say thank you very much," and I was like, "What's the problem with thank you very much?"
We don't understand, right? And Julia, I'd like to ask you, thanks so much for saying all those things about your experience. And you said your level right now you are C1, right?
Yes.
So how what was that like to take the C1 test? How did you do that? Did you take IELTS, TOEFL? Could you please explain a little bit about that?
I had TOEFL, but it was like this. At my university, we have, because there are two types of TOEFL. There's the TOEFL that you make on the computer and a paper TOEFL. So there we have the paper TOEFL. And I did that in 2017. So actually, I cannot say that my level is C1 because TOEFL has a duration of 2 years. I have to make a new one. So if I want to enter at a university in the US, I have to make a new one because I cannot prove that I am C1.
I see.
But I took the ITP TOEFL. That is that one you make on the paper, and then I went there without knowing anything about TOEFL.
Really?
That was crazy. I was like,
Oh my
okay,
God.
let me check my level. I didn't search anything. People search, discover how text works. It's our level. You know, TOEFL is not only about how good is your English. It's how much do you know the test, the certificate, how they will ask you how it works. And I didn't know how it works, and that was crazy.
Oh my
The
gosh.
next time you're going to study for it. And ITP TOEFL test only goes until C1. If you are C2, you will never know. You have to do the computer test.
Oh, I see.
Because
I
they
understand.
don't test your speaking. On the paper test, they don't have how to do this. So it's only reading, grammatics, and listening.
Listen.
So
I
this
see.
cannot be to C2 because they cannot test your speaking to know if you are C2 level.
Yeah, I would love to know next year. I would love to apply for TOEFL or IELTS. I still don't know which one would like to take, but I would like to get at least a C1 level. You know, that's why I've been studying so much because those tests are expensive, aren't they?
Yes, I didn't pay because they are free at my university, but if I want, I need to have a new one and I need to do a computer-based test now. So I will have to pay for it. And they are $215.
Right? Oh my gosh,
Today,
we're gonna have to
the
pay
dollar,
1,000.
we do the exchange between Portuguese between real and dollar is like 2 million reais.
Like that. That's cool. Julia, thanks so much for being here on my channel. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you again for your invitation. Thank you guys for listening to me, and think that mistakes are good. Richard and I was going to make a mistake because if first the person, then you. So if Richard and I we're always afraid to make mistakes, we wouldn't be here. So give your face like, okay, I'm going to do this. Be brave.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'd like to addition to that, I'd like to tell you guys, don't be afraid of being judged like we are doing right now. We are posting a video on the internet where people can tell a lot of things about you, but don't be afraid. You are studying English. You are learning a new language. you are trying to speak better and improve your career, so you are doing something. Sometimes people who judge you, they are not doing anything. So keep studying, guys, and don't feel afraid of making mistakes nor being judged. But thanks so much, Julia, for being here. It was a pleasure again to have you here. And guys, please follow her again on her Instagram. Her link will be in the description below. Give us please a thumbs up here on the channel. It will help us a lot. Thanks so much, Julia, again for being here, and I hope to talk to you again another time.
Yes, let's continue talking.
Thanks so much, Julia. Bye,
Bye
guys. Bye,
bye.
Julia.